Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I will be sharing this amazing super smoky patty jollof rice recipe, and in this video I will also be sharing some tips and tricks for achieving super smoky jollof rice. But first of all, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, and please don't forget to hit the bell notification as well so you can be notified of my new amazing recipes. Yes, I say amazing because I swear by my recipes. Thank you. So let's get on with it. One of the most important ingredients for jollof rice is concentrated meat broth or stock. So for that, I will be using some turkey and beef. You can use pretty much any other kind of meat that you prefer. I really would have been fine with just turkey, but because its flavor isn't as potent as chicken or beef, I've had to add some beef as well to it. But feel free to use one or the other. And for seasoning, I will be using some chopped onions, curry leaves, fresh thyme, Scotch bonnet pepper, just the one because it's only for heat, bouillon cubes, salt, curry powder, and some garlic powder. I'll then proceed to mix thoroughly. After mixing, I won't add water because I need the meat to sweat out their own juices. I'll then cover and leave to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. This process helps to intensify the flavor and taste of the meat and broth. So it's been 20 minutes and it's time to check back on the meats. As you can see, they have begun to boil at this time, so I'm going to add enough water to cover. Please don't add too much water, otherwise it's going to be too watered down and you need your stock to be super concentrated. And then I will cover and leave to cook until the turkey is softened. It's been 15 minutes, it's time to check back on the turkey, and as you can see, it's pretty much cooked at this time. I will be transferring them into a bowl. I should advise you at this point that if you're making turkey, please don't cook for more than 15 minutes. I don't know about the ones in Nigeria because I can't really remember making it back then. But here, I don't know how they sauce these things, but they just can't withstand heat for too long. So by the time I had to make it end, I think I cooked for about 25 or 30 minutes. By the time I got back, they had scattered. Since then, turkey, me hate here, and that's why I hardly use it anyways, but I had to today because it was requested. So I will continue to cook the beef until soft. For our peppers, we will be doing something a bit different, which is roasting the peppers, onions, garlic, and tomatoes. If you've watched my latest chicken stew video, then you will be familiar with this already. This process adds a bit of smokiness to the peppers and also helps to intensify the flavor of the stew base. Now, if you're someone who likes to cook with non-stick pots or just a regular stainless steel pan, then you won't be missing out too much on smokiness because this is going to introduce smokiness to your jollof rice. If you don't already do this, please start doing this. It is absolutely gorgeous. So for the stew base, we've got one whole garlic bulb. You can use as much as you want, but one is okay for me for this recipe. I've also got some Shombo as well. That's chili peppers. You can use as much as you want. I've got 3 Rodo, that's Scotch bonnet peppers. These are quite hot in this part, and that's why I've got more of the Shombo instead. I've got onions, I've got tomatoes, and also some bell peppers. I'm going to chop them up and be back. So I'm done chopping the peppers, and I've also sliced off a part of the garlic as well, exposing the inside. So to this, I will be adding some oil. The reason for this is just so it doesn't get burnt or charred while it's being roasted. And after that, I'm going to transfer the tray into my preheated oven. My oven is preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, and this will be roasted for about 40 minutes. It's been 40 minutes. And after roasting, this is what it looks like. As you can see, they're pretty much cooked at this time. One of the benefits of roasting is it reduces the moisture in the vegetables, thereby eliminating the need for parboiling. For those who haven't got an oven, I will be showing you how to do this in a pan at the end of the video, so please stick around. I'll also be sharing some tips for perfect jollof rice. You're welcome. So the next thing to do is to blend the peppers, and I will be transferring them into my blender. I'll also be adding the garlic. With the garlic, you don't need to peel the layers, just press into the blender and they will be released, so you're fine with that. And I will also be adding some ginger. Ginger is another top ingredient for amazing jollof rice. It's got this aromatic flavor that sort of intensifies that smokiness as well. And if it's paired with white pepper, honestly, even without a proper pan or firewood or anything, you will still achieve a bit of smokiness. So there's that. And I will be blending this until smooth. And after blending, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it is quite thick and it looks like pebble stew. Now, I should mention here that if you use this method, you're going to end up with very thick stew. So if you're one who likes thick stew, then you're on the right path. But if not, you will need to dilute with a bit of stock while you're cooking. So we will be setting this aside for later. And now it's time to fry the meat. And here I've got some vegetable oil on medium heat. I will be adding some onions, thyme and garlic, and this is for flavor. We're already building flavors at this point because we will be using this oil for the jollof rice later. So once it heats up nicely, I will begin to add my turkey and beef. And once the beef and the turkey have been well distributed in the oil, I will be frying this until they're brown on all sides. This is going to take between 10 to 15 minutes. And at this time, I'm fine with the beef, so I will be taking the beef out, leaving the turkey in there. So at this time, I'm pretty much satisfied with the turkey. As you can see, the brown on the outside but still juicy on the inside, just how I love my turkey. So I will be transferring them into a bowl, leaving the oil in the pan. So I did have someone ask me what I do with the residual garlic and onions from frying the meat. Well, you can add this to your pepper blend or you can discard. Now it's time to cook the jollof rice, and in this pan I've got some of the oil from frying the meat, and into this I will be adding some chopped onions. I've got roughly 2 small chopped onions in here, and I will be frying this for about a minute and then go in with my tomato paste. I'm sure you can tell that I've got 2 different tomato paste brands in here. Yeah, there's a reason for that, and at the end of the video I will be showing you which brands I use and why I use them. So we will be frying this for about 15 minutes or until it begins to taste really sweet. And also until the tomato paste begins to look a bit pebbly, you know, like little pebbles. I know some people fry their tomato paste for about 2 minutes and some just add it directly into the stew. No, you're doing it wrong. Tomato paste is very, very concentrated and it requires quite a long time, you know, for the onions to sweeten it. So you need to be very patient at this time. So this is the sort of texture you're looking for, and this is what I mean by little pebbles. So I will continue to fry this again for say another 2 minutes, but all in all I think I did about 15 to 16 minutes in all, and this is okay for me. At this time I'll introduce the pepper mix. In case you're wondering why I didn't parboil first, or you skipped the part where I mentioned this earlier, well, you don't need to parboil if it's been roasted previously. You only need to parboil if you're using the peppers and tomatoes raw. And as I mentioned earlier, this is so thick. I'm having a hard time mixing it with the oil. So I'm going to add a bit more oil to this. It's fine. You can always decant the oil if you feel like it's too much, but you need enough oil to fry this because it is way too thick. Anyway, after doing that, I will be adding my seasonings and spices. And for that, I'm using thyme, white pepper, bouillon cubes, curry powder, salt, and some bay leaves. At this time, I will stir to combine thoroughly and then leave to fry for about 45 minutes. Please do not cover this all the way. You need a splatter guard or just cover halfway, otherwise it's going to boil rather than fry. If you need a link to the splatter guard, I will be leaving one in the description box below. So it's been about 45 minutes roughly, and I did add a bit more oil to this because it was beginning to burn, as you can see, but that's fine. So this is just perfect for me anyway. And at this time I will add my rice and then fry for about 5 minutes. I should mention at this point that this is not parboiled rice. This is just washed rice. I washed it properly. I washed it until the water ran clear. And this is what you need to do as well. You need to wash until the water runs clear. Otherwise, you're going to end up with soggy rice. And if you're not very confident with using raw rice, what you can do is you can parboil before adding, but honestly, you won't get that smoky flavor because the rice needs to fry. It needs to fry for a long time for you to achieve it. So I'm going to add some of the broth to it. I think I used roughly about 2 cups. I can't stress this enough, but jollof rice does not require too much liquid to cook. All it needs is steam, trapped steam. Your liquid should not be more than 1 centimeter above the rice, otherwise you'll end up with sweet boiled rice rather than jollof. And this is why Olopos and caterers use Dutch pot. You know, is it Agbari Ojuku or the Adogon? One of the two anyways, the one for jollof. And that's because it traps in heat. You know, it's very heavy, and that the lid as well just traps in all the heat inside of the pot, thereby requiring little water to cook. Contrary to popular belief, jollof rice is fried, it's not boiled, and this is why it comes out in singles and it's a bit dry. To mimic the effect of a Dutch pot, we've covered the pot tightly with some kitchen foil, and then we're going to cover with a lid that hasn't got vents. By vents, I mean holes, and that's because we want all of the heat to be trapped inside of the pot, no escaping at all. After that, we will be cooking this 3/4 of the way. So depending on the kind of rice that you're using, with basmati rice, it cooks in less than 30 minutes. So I'm going to be cooking this for about 20 minutes, but you can check every now and then if you're not very confident with it. So it's been about 20 minutes roughly, and this is what it looks like. At this time, I will be stirring to combine. I won't be stirring all the way because the rice has started to burn, and I'm trying to avoid raising the burnt bit up. You need your rice to burn in order to achieve smokiness. See, caterers make reservations for burns. For a kilo of rice, you typically need between, I think about 5 kg of rice, but they make between 6 to 7 kg because they know they're going to lose about 1 to 2 kg to burns. So, stingy people, you have to find a way. I know some people are always like, I don't want it to burn now, it will waste. You have to sacrifice some rice to the gods of jollof, otherwise you're not ready to eat. Anyway, I've just added a bit of salt because it needs just a bit more, and this is the point where you need to season to your satisfaction, because anything you do after this time won't really work because it won't be distributed well around the rice. Another important tip here is you need to use a wooden spoon. Right from the moment you add the rice into the stew, you need to use a wooden spoon, otherwise your rice is going to break. I mean, if you use anything else, it will break up the grains and it will be a bit soggy. So I'm going to go in with some butter and some chopped onions and tomatoes. Why the butter? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. During the frying process or during the cooking process, the rice loses so much moisture because it's fried, like I said, and it becomes way too dry. So what the butter does is it replenishes that lost moisture and also makes it really lush. And if you notice, a lot of caterers do this, but they use margarine mostly. I think they use Blue Band a lot, but I prefer to use butter. So I will be covering this up again and then leaving to cook until it's fully soft. This will take another 10 to 15 minutes thereabouts. So it's been 15 minutes and this is the end result. See how beautiful this jollof rice looks. Amazing. It tasted so beautiful as well. See, if you follow this recipe just as I've depicted on here, you're going to end up a professional jollof rice layer. This is guaranteed. My jollof rice recipes never fail, and this is a no-fail recipe just like the rest of them. So I will be sharing some more tips and tricks at the end of this video, so please stay tuned. So the first tip is to show you how to roast your peppers without an oven. And what you need is your peppers. Obviously, these are not the peppers I use for my jollof, obviously, but these are all I've got at home. So you need a pan that's non-stick or anodized or cast iron, just something that doesn't stick. So add some oil into the pan. And this is my garlic. So I'm just going to be covering that with oil so it doesn't burn. And I will be doing this with the cut side down. And at this time, I will begin to add the peppers, the chopped peppers, and just arrange that into the pan in a way that they do not overlap. I should mention at this point that you need to do this on low heat or low to medium heat, not high heat, because what you need to achieve is that charred effect. So obviously if you do it on high heat, then that's going to happen a bit too soon without the peppers properly roasting. So you need to do this on low to medium heat and just keep turning every now and then until you achieve a well-rounded charness. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm sure you understand. So this is what it looks like at the end. This took me roughly about 30 to 35 minutes. Yeah, it's a time waster, but no pain, no gain, right? So this is what the garlic looks like. And as you can see, just push it out and it just comes out. And so that's it for the smoked peppers. So this second tip is for those in the UK or whichever country where there's two brands are sold. These are my two absolute favorite tomato brands. The KTC one is absolutely beautiful, but I use that mostly for stews because it's less concentrated and it's quite sweet. So this works perfectly. This is my best plum ever. The Valfruto one is very, very concentrated and it gives you that red jollofy color. So this I use for jollof. But if I was going to make stews, I would definitely use KTC. KTC is the best. This is not the sponsored ad. I don't know these people from Adam. I'm just trying to show what I use because obviously this works as a very good base for your jollof rice. And for my tomato paste, Gino is my absolute favorite. Everyone knows I love Gino. I also use Derica as well. Well, these two are the best anyways, but let me tell you the difference. With Derica is very, very concentrated. So if you're a learner, I mean, if you're not very used to making jollof rice, I wouldn't advise you to use Derica. Derica just gives you that red color, but it is very sour. Gino, on the other hand, is not as concentrated as Derica. So it's sweet, or it gets sweet, you know, much earlier than Derica when you're frying. So you can use any of the two, but what I do typically is I mix the two. So I use Gino because I know that it's sweet, but I use Derica to achieve that red color. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but these two work. But I would like to say here that if you're a first time jollof maker, please go with Gino. Gino is absolutely beautiful. It won't give you that very, very red color you're looking for, but it gives you that confidence that your rice is going to turn out perfect. But if you're used to making jollof rice already, then please go for Derica. So I keep getting asked what basmati rice I use. I use Tropical Sun Golden Cellar Pure Basmati. This is not an ad. To be honest, I'm even trying to change from Tropical Sun now because I feel like the rice is getting a bit too hard. But another one that works is L'Aquila, Annie, Tiwoda, and Ashley. Those 5 brands are amazing. So whatever you do, just buy Golden Cellar Pure Basmati rice. It doesn't have to be Tropical Sun, just anything that's Golden Cellar. Golden Cellar is pretty much refined and it's parboiled as well, so it doesn't get soggy. Another thing I like to talk about are my seasonings, and for that I use Knorr. I use either Knorr Aromat or Knorr chicken cubes. These are all I use. Oh, I also use Benny, but Benny hasn't been in the market for a while, but I only use that to boil meat or for chicken sort of recipes anyway. So this is what the cubes look like, and I use Aromat more for stir fries once in a while. I don't use anything else. These are perfect for me. And for my chicken stock, if I haven't got homemade, this is what I use. This is another breeding product from Knorr. Again, it's not sponsored. I have to keep saying this so people don't get turned off. It's not. These are just what works for me. So what I do with this is I just, because it comes in like a jelly form, so I just take it out of the packaging. Well, I'm just going to tear it because I'm not patient. Well, so what I do is I mix it with hot water and it's ready to use. It is absolutely flavorful. I don't like to use those store-bought, you know, those ones in cartons and all. I just feel like they're really bland, so I don't use them. This works perfectly for me every single time. So if it's sold where you are, then please go for this. If you haven't got homemade is still the best one, which is what I use most times. Well, if I can't have it, then obviously I just use this. So another interesting one is my butter. So if you're making jollof rice, you need butter with at least 70 grams of fat, because this is what makes it lush. This is what makes it really good. But I always use Anchor or I use Lurpak. Anchor is still one of the creamiest ones that you can find. So all you need to do is just check the back, you know, just check the packaging, and it tells you just how much fat is in it. But if you can't get this Anchor or any other creamy butter, you can always use margarine. Margarine it's also creamy as well anyway, so you can use that. So we've come to the end of this amazing video, and I hope you've enjoyed everything so far. If you do try this recipe, please let me know how you get on by leaving me a comment in the comment section. I also have the ingredients list and measurements in the description box. And I hope you subscribe to my channel, please, and like this video. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.